take lots of cheese and my life. Want a career at the cheese go? Want a degree to help prepare you for a career in healthcare, business, education? Check us out at post.edu. Post University. What? Oh, is that a sneeze? Allergy sneeze? Cancel our trip and be stuck in bed for 5 days. Sneeze. I feel okay. Do I look okay? Okay. What if I miss the party? Presents? Blueberry pancakes? When urgent care clinics aren't urgent enough, talk to the doctor fast with MD Live.
Skinny Hardaway 7T back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good boxing, sports, parlays, predictions every single day, not just today. Today I'm here with this EP. I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time today, right? This something that this kind of been on my mind, right? I did an EP earlier about the Devin Haney versus the Ryan Garcia fight, and it kind of got me to thinking, right? I want y'all to hear me out real quick for a second. Shout out my guy MP, what the fuck? Shout out my guy Ray Buck. Appreciate y'all sliding through. If y'all could hit that thumbs up if you sliding on in, you know what I mean? Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time, right? But that kind of got me to thinking, right? I talked about Devin and Ryan Garcia earlier, right? Now, not me, right? But when these four, young brothers first hit the scene, right? The people were telling me, right? The four young kings. Y'all remember they were pushing the four young kings, Garcia, Tank, Shakur, Devin Haney, right? And it kind of has played out that way, right? Now, while these young kings still are writing their stories, right? They have been, you know what I mean, the young group of guys who have carried the sport up until this point, especially for, the younger crop or the next up and coming crop, right? They're not so much young right now, right? They're kind of hitting their primes, right? You know what I mean? But I remember, right, when they first came out, they marketed these guys as the four kings, right? Now we had Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis face off already once, right? And now we got Ryan Garcia possibly about to face off against Devin Haney, right? Now, the reason that I made this EP, because I was talking about Ryan and, Devin earlier in their upcoming fight, and it got me to thinking, man, now is the perfect time, right? You know what I mean, for this four king tournament to begin. Now we already got Tank and Ryan, right? Ryan is trying to redeem himself with the Devin Haney, so he could possibly fight and take on Devin Haney, right? At this point, Gervonta Tank Davis, he's not scheduled to fight anybody right now. Shakur Stevenson isn't scheduled to fight anybody right now, right? Both those guys are looking for their next fight, their big fight, right? And I'm thinking Shakur Stevenson is at the 135-pound division, right? Devin Haney's WBA belt, it just went vacant. The next two fighters in line for Devin Haney's WBA belt is Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank Martin, right? So maybe you have to fight Frank Martin before you could, fight a Shakur Stevenson, or maybe, or something like that, right? Or something like that, or maybe Frank Martin, steps aside, right? Takes a nice little check, if possible, unless you fight Shakur Stevenson, right? But what I'm thinking right now is that, the fans want to see the best fight. You want to see the best fight the best, right? Devin Haney is no longer sitting at 135, but we still Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia, right? It's no longer sitting at 135. But Shakur and Gervonta Tank Davis are sitting at 135 right now. Shakur is already a champion in the 135-pound division. We got Lomachenko and George Kambosos about to face off on one of those straps, right? But you know, a guy like Tank, straps aren't really as important to him. It's more so about making money and making the biggest fights, right? Shakur Stevenson is one of the buzzing names in boxing at this point, right? Now, while Shakur Stevenson, he kind of dropped the ball a little bit in his last fight. A fight with Gervonta Tank Davis to put him right back where he needs to be. And basically, what this EP is saying is, you know, as far as the timetable, both fighters being open, right? This fight, I feel like the time is now. You know what I mean? This fight will determine who is the best fighter at 135 for 135 supremacy. Kambosos took the loss, right? Lomachenko took the loss, right? Shakur Stevenson, undefeated fighter. Gervonta Tank Davis, undefeated fighter. Both guys, you know, were a part of that, you know, that push that young, you know, that four young kings, right? You remember the four kings from back in the day, you know, Sugar Ray, Duran, Hearn, Hagler, right? You know, the updated version, right? Now there'll never be those guys, right? But the updated version of that, right? And this one, me pushing this is what, you know, what was being pushed, right? Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Devin Haney. I think the perfect time is now, right? With Ryan Garcia and Devin being about to face off. And also you got Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis having history, right? I don't know if you recall, but I recall, right? And I got actually got a video of what Shakur Stevenson actually said, and I know y'all remember what Gervonta Tank Davis said to Blue Blood, you know, live on the Rads podcast. You remember when Gervonta Tank Davis stated, right when Gervonta Tank Davis signed the fight Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia, he was taking a lot of heat about not fighting, you know, guys like Devin or Shakur Stevenson. That's when the conversation came up, you know, about the sparring sessions when Gervonta Tank Davis said, I knocked out Shakur and I knocked out Devin Haney. And since then, right, it's kind of been back on fire as far as, oh, Shakur, Devin, Tank, right? Really since that moment, since Tank Davis signed the fight, Ryan Garcia, Hector Garcia, you know, the mix of that four kings, Ryan Garcia, Tank, Haney, uh, you know, Shakur, it's been hot, right? But I say that to say, you guys, just like I remember, you do remember Gervonta Tank Davis saying that he wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney in his next fight. Well, Devin Haney is now about to fight Ryan Garcia. You guys couldn't come together and get that fight going, right? So I think now it's time for Gervonta Tank Davis to switch his attention to Shakur Stevenson, being that it came out Gervonta Tank Davis's mouth that in his next fight he will fight Shakur or Devin Haney. Also, being that Shakur Stevenson needs that fight to make a big statement in his next fight, coming off of that Edwin De Los Santos loss, right? You know what I mean? Shout out my guy Marky Dan, right? So Shakur Stevenson needs to make a big statement. Gervonta Tank Davis wants to keep himself in those big money fights, right? You don't want to make a down move or a lateral move, right? I think Shakur Stevenson, right, with as hot as his name, you know, is right now, was whether it's good or bad, right? I think that fight makes a whole lot of sense. I think it's competitive, right? And it's also a fight that Gervonta Tank Davis said that he would. It's also a fight that Gervonta Tank Davis said that he would be interested in, right? He said after I fight Garcia and Garcia, which he's completed, I'm fighting Devin Haney or I'm fighting Shakur Stevenson next. Well, Devin Haney is about to fight Ryan Garcia. Shakur Stevenson is open for business. And on that Shakur Stevenson tip, I remember earlier this year, they asked Shakur Stevenson a question about Gervonta Tank Davis. Right after Gervonta Tank Davis said on the Raz podcast that he stopped Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said that he never stopped me in sparring. It was good sparring, but he never stopped me. I don't know why he would say that. Shakur Stevenson also, he said that he would be the one to expose Tank, right? So you got Gervonta Tank Davis saying that, you know, before he signed to fight Ryan and Hector, that after I fight Ryan and Hector, I'm fighting Shakur Stevenson, right? I think the time is now. And you also got Shakur Stevenson. You know, I remember Shakur Stevenson said back like in June or something like that he will be the one to expose Gervonta Tank Davis. And I actually have the audio on there, right? So both these guys have, you know, hinted and made Rebels have hinted. Both these guys have hinted and made rumblings that that they want to fight one another. I think the time is now, right? I think the time is now. Both guys are open for negotiations. I say, it's not gonna be an easy fight to make, right? One being top ranked and Gervonta Tank Davis, being without hanging in the PBC, but those two sides have came together and got fights done before, and I think now is more. I think now is a better time than ever, right? But I'm about to play this clip from Shakur Stevenson when he said that he would be the one to expose Gervonta Tank Davis. Now they got the ambitions as a rider beat playing along with it, but I want you to kind of listen past the beat, right? You'll hear Shakur Stevenson saying that he'll be the one to expose him. And if you think you're going to just come in there and knock me out, then you're going to be in for a surprise, right? So you got Gervonta Tank Davis saying that I'm fighting Shakur or I'm fighting Devin Haney next. Devin Haney is about to fight Ryan. Shakur Stevenson is open. And you got Shakur Stevenson saying that he'll be the one to expose Gervonta Tank Davis. What I'm saying, the time is now. You know what I mean? Neither fighter has a fight on the table. Both fighters are at 135, and this fight will be for 135 supremacy. But I'm finna play this clip real quick.
He fighting pay-per-view, knocking these dudes out.
He talking about Tank Davis. He said, he fighting pay-per-view and he knocking these dudes out.
That don't take away the fact that I can beat this dude.
He said that don't take away the fact that I could beat this dude.
That dude get to feeling himself and feeling like he's something that he's not.
He said that dude get to feeling himself and he get to feeling like he's something that he not.
And to the world, he look like a killer, but I can't wait. I'm gonna expose him.
And he said to the world, he looked like a killer, but I can't wait. I'm gonna expose him, right? And I think the time is now. You got Shakur Stevenson saying that he's gonna be the one to expose Tank. You got Tank saying I want Shakur or Devin Haney. Man, neither fighter has a fight right now. I think it's time. You know what I mean? The people win, and I think that's the best fight that we could get at 135. If we can't get, Tank and Devin. If Devin is about to fight Ryan Garcia, if Tevin is about to fight Ryan Garcia, you know what I mean? I think it's perfect timing for Tank and Shakur Stevenson. But I digress, man. Skinny Hardaway to the T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. It's just the present. That's how you rock it. And I'm out. Look, shout out my guy, MP. What the fuck? Sliding through this thing. I got some plays for you, MP. Shout out my guy, MP. My guy, MP. What the fuck? Sliding through this thing. My guy, Ray Book. My guy, Marky Dan T. And my big brother, DP Rock. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. My Skin Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But just the present. That's how you rocking. And I'm out. Love.